I'll call you Feather, though, okay, instead of Jay.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't called you Jay once, so I'm not going to start now.
Obviously.
Hey, there's the opening.
Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast recorded right here in the heart of Sin City. Join Mike and the Feather as they dive into the world of sports bet predictions, game analysis, and serve up a healthy dose of Vegas-style humor. Whether you're looking to ride the winning streak or soar to new heights in your football knowledge, this is the podcast for you. Let's embark on this gridiron adventure together from the entertainment capital of the world.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather. We're glad you could join us again today. If this is your first time, welcome in. If you're a returning viewer, we hope you're subscribed. And if you aren't, please consider clicking that subscribe button down below. And guys, the thumbs up down below is a really good way to show the YouTube algorithm people are watching this content. Takes about a second and a half, so if we can get you to do that for us, we greatly appreciate it, but obviously only do it if you really are enjoying the content today. So, Feather, kind of an interesting week in the NFL, Week 5 this week, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was. We had a fun time Sunday watching the games. A lot of craziness was going on. Learned a lot about certain teams and players, and it was a carnage of weekend injuries, though. Like, there was a lot of big injuries, a lot of guys going on the IR. So, we'll start it off. I mean, let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big upset, in spite of Matt Canada being a terrible offensive coordinator. I mean, literally the play from Pickett to Pickens that was a long play was in spite of him calling his typical 1-yard run play that was audibled out by Kenny Pickett. And he saw zero coverage defense, and he audibled out and threw that ball on it all on his own. And many of you probably have seen the footage of Matt Canada when that touchdown actually happened. He was like a stone. He literally was like he was pissed off that they actually didn't run his play, and it was obvious. And they got it done, though, in spite of Matt Canada being complete garbage. So that was a good one, and that was a win for us as well. And elsewhere in a different game, the Chiefs seem to be continuing to get calls in the NFL from the refs. There was a bunch of blown calls that should have went against the Chiefs offense and definitely against the defense. And Minnesota lost Justin Jefferson, which is a huge loss. He's out for the next 4 weeks minimum on the IR. And that's pretty devastating for fantasy owners and sports enthusiasts alike. And it's just one of those things that, it's frustrating. The Chiefs week in and week out, they're not playing well. Their offense is not firing on all cylinders, and their defense is kind of picking up the slack a little bit. Patrick Mahomes looks kind of rough out there, and I don't know if it's because it's his receivers or if he's just not playing well so far.
A little bit of a scare with Mr. Swift, too, with Kelsey going out, which looked like a really painful injury at first, and then he's right back in the game. So that would have been a little bit devastating to the Swifties and to the Chiefs fans.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. Like, it's weird because he bashed his helmet down, and either he's being a drama queen because he's dating a drama queen now. But it was weird. Like, everyone's assumed the worst, that he must either tore something. Like, look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, and he stood up and he was kind of silent when it happened, and then he sits back down, right? He didn't get all, like, crazy emotional. He was, like, you could tell he was disappointed, but he knew it, right? And he's a veteran. Travis Kelce's also a veteran, so you would think that he would know, based on his reaction, he was either overly dramatic or he doesn't know his body, because he reacted like his season was going to be done, probably either a knee injury or a torn Achilles. And then what does he do? He comes back on the field 30 minutes later or right after halftime. So weird set of events, but that was that. Elsewhere, you got the Patriots and Mac Jones, the first official NFL team that is dead to me right now. Absolutely stone cold nuts, dead to me. The Patriots made the Saints look like a Super Bowl team, which is impossible because they are not. They are the furthest thing from a Super Bowl team. I wouldn't doubt Bill Belichick could be in the hot seat. Robert Kraft said not so, about that much, that he's not free of possibly, getting dismissed from his job.
That would be kind of an interesting end to his tenure, given what he went through with Brady and all the Super Bowls, and was pretty much one of the most feared coaches in the NFL. And it's almost like, if that is the end, does he A, step away, from the game, because does he want to go somewhere else at this point and start over? Because he's really starting over right now with the Patriots.
Right.
But two, it's almost going to be like he just goes out with a whimper. It's almost like he just vanishes. Maybe this is his riding off into the sunset moment, and that's going to be it. And then Patriots are just going to be back to having to find an identity for some time.
Don Shula, obviously, he was a really great winning coach, and kind of went out kind of on a sour note at the end. But he went out with the teams. You know, a lot of times that's the thing. These coaches and these players don't go out on top. A lot of times they end up going out when they're past it or they're kind of forced out. And it's because they're competitive and they want to play longer than they probably should, and they want to coach longer than they should. So, yeah, the Patriots, dumpster fire, dead to me. Now let's talk about your New York Giants.
Who?
The New York Football Giants, the
No.
G-Men.
They're a team. We have a team in New York. It doesn't seem like it. I haven't seen them play football yet this season.
Possibly next year they'll be an XFL team, but for right now they're in the NFL still.
I'd rather go for like playing for like NYC like college teams. Maybe we'll have a chance against them.
And now you got Daniel Jones with a neck injury. Who knows where that's going to go? So
I mean, I don't know if it really makes it much worse. I mean, obviously Jones is not able to play without Barkley. It appears that way. Completely different. He doesn't have his escape hatch. He doesn't have somebody to draw. They know they're not afraid of the run against the Giants. I mean, Breed is not going to be running anywhere. No. So it still boggles me that they fought giving a contract for so long to Barkley, and then they give him a 1-year contract. Meanwhile, Jones gets paid up the wazoo. And I mean, I know I looked at the NFL rankings this morning. I'm still just shocked that the Giants aren't ranked the worst team in the NFL. 13 points against the Dolphins at least. So that coupled with the last week's loss to the Seahawks, I mean, we're just not looking like we even know what's going on. But anyway, everybody who watched the game, I'm sure that was pretty obvious. So I don't know. Is Tyrod Taylor the answer? I'm pretty sure that's not going to make much of a difference. But in the end, it might not make a difference.
Right. I mean, and now you got of course, the NFL really has egg on their face because slated in the primetime spot again this week, the New York Football Giants against the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, can they just flex that one to like a blackout channel? Because I don't think anybody needs to / wants to see that game.
They need to flex that game big time. The only people watching that game are the people that are Bills fans and fantasy football enthusiasts trying to see how many points Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs can rack up.
Well, speaking of that, though, let's talk about the Bills for a second, because the Bills are getting decimated losing linesmen. It's a little bit interesting to watch Josh Allen struggle against the Jaguars in London. Now, granted, you made the point that I think they said the Bills arrived on Friday afternoon or Saturday?
They arrived 55 hours before kickoff.
So basically sometime roughly Friday, maybe
it was
Thursday
technically their
night.
version of like Saturday morning, kind of almost. Like it's weird how the hours work, but literally that's a question I don't understand. I don't understand why they're not getting on a plane on Tuesday. You know, United States Tuesday, whatever it's going to be when they get there. It's like 8 hours difference or whatever, however that works.
So I guess we got our answer from last week that no, it didn't bother the Jaguars at all to be spending 2 weeks in London. In fact, it seems to be like very beneficial.
They
to
look
them.
comfortable. I mean, it was weird. The Bills kept losing defensive player after defensive player. It seemed like every single play, another defender was down and out. Josh Allen looked okay. Stephon Diggs, that connection was decent, but Jacksonville looked good. Travis Etienne was crushing it, and I mean, I think it was jet lag. I think the Bills were kind of bogged down a little bit. No excuses, of course. It is what it is. But, yeah, I think we'll find out this week, when the Bills play. Granted, they're playing the Giants, so it's not really a good way to gauge where they're at. But they should bomb Giants out of the water. And we'll see where Jacksonville is going to go too. I mean, they both have games this week, and but as far as that goes, Jacksonville is now done for the year on their London trips, and they're back in the U.S. the rest of the year. And we're going to see if they're going to be back on track now and start. They 2-0 in London this year, so good for them.
Oh, okay. Here's a question then. Since we have Josh Allen on our fantasy team, do we start him or Purdy this week? Because let's just say the Bills go up 38-0 on the Giants. how much activity is Josh Allen going to generate in the fantasy world?
Well, if they do go up 38-0, that's going to be a lot of points already for him, barring that they weren't just runs, right? So I guess if it comes to a point where they got to pull him, he probably already earned his fantasy football nut.
Okay, fair enough. Hopefully Dalvin Cook isn't getting all the touches and all the points because we don't have him. So,
But Dalvin Cook doesn't happen to play for the Bills.
which Cook is it?
It'd be James Cook.
James Cook. I'm sorry, Dalton Slayton. Okay. Well, I'll cut it right there. Go to the next thing.
No, it's not bad.
All right.
It's good. I don't mind it. So now you got Joe Burrow. Let's talk Joe Burrow. He almost reached my dead to me list after the prior week, after week 4. And I'm like, you know what? There's no way on earth that Joe Burrow is going to lose to Arizona. This team is too talented and too capable against an Arizona team that has surprised people, for sure, right? What Dobbs is doing in this team is nothing short of miraculous, right? They can't even lose games, right, to get the number 1 draft pick. So that being said, Joe Burrow is alive and well, and Jamar Chase has one of the best receiving performances of any receiver all time. Just unbelievable. Just crushed it. So there was a lot of things swirling around that basically Jamar Chase and the coach of the Bengals got into it, kind of almost like a physical altercation. And Jamar Chase said he wanted to be traded. Well, hopefully winning cures all pain. And they're going to get back on track and get back to their winning ways and become a playoff team again. So happy for those guys. Happy that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase seem to be back at it. And the Bengals fans, I'm sure, are really happy as well. So
basically, Giants and Cardinals are the cure for what ails any team in the NFC, it seems.
It's looking like that's the thing. Now, the big conversation, the Dallas Cowboys. Whew. Will the real Dallas Cowboys please stand up? Is it a fraud alert? I'm not sure. All I know is the Dallas Cowboys are good at beating really bad teams. They beat the Giants, pummeled them, terrible team. They whipped up on the Patriots. We know how bad they are. They took advantage of a Jets team that was reeling from a game where Aaron Rodgers, their savior, went down after 3 plays. So after 3 plays, Rodgers goes down, and it's the reality strikes home to everybody that Zach Wilson is going to be our quarterback again. And I think they played that way against Dallas, and Dallas benefited. So they got 3 nice wins. Okay, they got 3 wins. They weren't nice wins because the teams are terrible. And they lost to Arizona, which that's not – Arizona owned them that whole game. And then they play the San Francisco 49ers, and everyone's like, hey, a lot of people – I myself, I was on Dallas. We found out that San Fran is the best team in the league right now, and Dallas is far from it. Bottom line, Dallas, their offense has problems, and maybe it's too vanilla. Mike McCarthy is old school coach, and I think he's outdated. He's an analog player in a digital world. And San Francisco, there's nothing else to say. San Francisco is unbelievable on all fronts of the ball. They got a top-end coach, and they are on a whole nother level than the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll find out what the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in the future. But right now, it's not looking good for Cowboy Nation because they seem to only beat the teams that are terrible.
And the bottom line is, too, no matter what happens, the road to the Super Bowl for the Cowboys is going to lead at some point back to San Francisco. So they're going to have to figure out exactly what they need to do to combat what's going on, because I don't know if anybody can stop the 49ers. I mean, legitimately, there's too many weapons. If they all stay healthy, how do you beat a team that has that many players who can just score at will? And McCaffrey is like a freight train. You just can't stop him. Like shocked, to Dallas's credit, they did stop his run this week. He had 50 yards, 1 touchdown, which seems like, hey, there's a decent yard stat for any running back in the NFL. That's like, wow, McCaffrey had a bad game, only running for 50 yards and 1 TD.
But coming off of 4 touchdowns or whatever it was, I mean, that can happen, right? But the Cowboys, the defense isn't really the issue. I mean, their defense is pretty good. It's not bad at all. And they kind of did some okay things in that aspect, but for the most part, no. I mean, they were turning the ball over. Dak didn't look good at all. And I just don't see Dallas with this offense and how they're running it being a team that is going to be able to go very far. I think the Eagles are the best team in that division for sure. And I think the Eagles got problems. I mean, the Eagles were kind of almost exposed a little bit against, the Rams. Ironically, the Rams to start the year was supposed to be a probably top 5 worst team in the league by far. And now with the emergence of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp's back, that team looked pretty good. And they played Philly tough. They really did. I liked the Rams in that one for sure at 4.5. And they played that game close to the vest the whole time. And Philly, they're looking okay, but they're not looking like they were on defense, not even close. And, it got to stay by and watch. I mean, they're still undefeated. So Philly is still undefeated, and that's the important part. Wins are wins. But they look a little bit off from their last year's season. And we'll see what's to come for them. Yeah, so overall, it was a great weekend. Football, very exciting week 5, and I'm looking forward to, see what's to come.
Yeah, how about we do it again this Sunday?
I'm in. Let's go. Sunday it is.
All right, so before we leave today, we're going to have a special treat for you. First, we're going to put up the Feathers pick statistics for week 5, along with the year-to-date summary, as many of you are asking for. And then we're going to cut away to this man who people said couldn't film, wasn't technologically inclined. He snuck a selfie stick into Allegiant Stadium. Oh, burned you on that one. Yeah, by the way, warning, you can't bring selfie sticks or any type of holder, apparently, to Allegiant Stadium. He filmed his trip to watch the Green Bay Packers take on the Oakland Raiders. I almost said Los Angeles, and I'm going to let it roll, the Las Vegas Raiders. And sorry about your loss. I know you did bet the game and win, but that was your own private pick.
I did. I did actually in-game bet that one, and I took the Raiders at -3 in game midway through. It was an exciting game, back and forth. Jordan Love took his lumps. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions, and it was a rough go for him. But I think it's a learning curve. So it was exciting. It was fun. The stadium is really cool. I highly recommend anyone that hasn't been there yet, if they want to go watch their team, go to Raiders Stadium. It's really worth it. And our section was great. It was probably 90% Packer fans and high fives and fun the whole time.
Yeah, you guys were all over town. I saw so many Packers people everywhere I went.
The stadium was probably 70% Green Bay fans, but those Raider fans, they're still loud. So they made up for the fact they were a deficit as far as the overall totals. But yeah, I as a bettor, people say, do you bet with your heart? And I don't. I mean, the bottom line was I saw at some point in the second half that I felt that the way the game was leading, that from a financial standpoint, it was best fitting to bet the Raiders, and I did so. And I made some money, and I guess that maybe the money I made was able to be used to wipe my tears for my team losing. So it's kind of a win-win in a odd way.
All right, so we'll get to the Feathers' personal footage from Allegiant Stadium right after we show you all of his picks and stats for Week 5 and the season so far, guys.
Let's go with this guy.
Go, Pack, go.
Pack, go! Go, Pack, go! Good game. It was close. Back and forth.
Look at that shirt.
Raiders.
Rough result for the Packers. Had a blast. It was outstanding, guys.
Good game.
But, heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. They had a shot at the end. Fell short. My heart hurts a little bit, but we'll be all right.
The final score was 17-13, and the man didn't record one single score.
All right, guys. It was a rough one. I mean, we're walking through Raider Stadium, kind of checking it out. And what are you going to do? We got Doug here. Get in here, Doug. It was a tough go. Not happy. Good game, but it was a rough one for sure. So we'll see what the future brings. Jordan Love, 3 interceptions, came down to earth. And, you know, he's young. It's just a wait and see kind of thing right now. But let's see what happens. Go Pack Go. Looking forward to week 6 and my NFL picks. Tune into Mike and the Feather for all your future picks. And let's get it done. Go Pack Go. Not today, though. Wasn't meant to be. Bye-bye.